if someone hacks someone else's AI creation, or, and have sex with that, even if it's in imaginary or online, uh, would that then be considered as a sex crime, or can you even take it to the court, or have we start thinking about developing laws or think about this in the South African context?
I'm sure that such a case
Why are you laughing?
has been taken in the US already because, yeah, there's a lot of suing going on over there. More than a year, yeah, but yeah.
No, I'm serious.
Yeah. Okay. I'm laughing because you're asking whether it is a sex crime.
Yes.
So sex crime towards who? The person who owns this AI, who created it. Like me having a relationship with my AI partner, right? Or now you're talking about a thing. Now you come in and you have sex with my AI. And now you're talking about me. What recourse do I have? Is that what you're asking? What legal recourse do I have?
Yes.
Okay.
After a sexual act is committed.
After a sexual act, but now this sexual act is nothing physical, because this is not the robot we're talking about. This is the AI personality.
Yeah, but it's sex.
Yeah, well, it depends on, look, I say it depends. You know, there are times, it really depends on the conversation or the context, that there are broader definitions of sex and those that are not. I mean, people can get divorced or separate in relationships because of emotional cheating. Do you know what I mean? It's not necessarily sex. It depends on what sex is. You know, are we only talking physical sex or sex talk? Like the same thing. I have a big thing about these definitions of context. How we're using it and for what purpose. But I know what you're saying. You're saying now that this can be sex, that you came in and you had sex, you cheated with my AI girlfriend, boyfriend. Not cheated, you never...
No, it's a forceful act.
Forceful?
No,
Hi.
wait, you hacked someone's AI property.
Mm-hmm.
Then you, without their consent, had sex
with the AI.
With that AI.
Without the AI's consent, or without the person who owns that AI.
Let's deal with it as property.
Yeah, because that AI, that's what I was going to say, cannot consent.
Yeah.
And the AI, obviously, this fictitious character has no rights as a legal person. So there's no recourse. I mean, that's going to another level. Perhaps in time we'll see something like that. But an AI is property, you're very correct in law. So it's about what recourse I would have against you for hacking. And doing this, it's not. Are you trying to say that it is? You see, because it becomes very difficult here when we talk about consent, and this kind of thing. It could potentially be very problematic. You just come and interfere. You interfered with my AI, but was my AI in agreement?
No, it affects you at this level of psychology where you cannot have sex with this creation.
Because that's my creation.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but then I could think about suing you for damages, or suing the person who has interfered, intercepted, unlawfully accessed my AI. So the legal recourse which I would have would be to consider instituting a damages claim. So in other words, using the law of delict as a way to sue for the harm that I've suffered, because I'm now feeling aggrieved. So what legal recourse is available to me as an aggrieved person? I can think about instituting a damages claim, where basically I am suing the person who has unlawfully accessed, interfered with, engaged in sexual conduct, whatever the case may be, right? And this has affected me because I now feel that I have been, it psychologically affected me or emotionally affected me, right? So I have to think about what I could sue for. You know, but remember, there would of course be, in terms of the Cybercrimes Act, also a way that you can, that you could bring criminal charges, open a case at the police station, and then to follow the criminal justice system process from there, as to having somebody charged in terms of one of the provisions of the Act, right? Because it's a statutory crime. But in terms of a damages claim, I would need to have to sue for how I have been harmed. And that can always be difficult because, you see, with something like this, there are not going to be any special damages, like where I can sue for loss of a limb, for example, or I can sue for the cost of medical bills. Maybe I could sue for my psychologist fees, for my bills of my psychologist or psychiatrist, for example. Maybe that's something we could sue for. Those things are easy because they are, you can calculate them easy. They can be computed. It's like you can calculate easily what it is. It's like computation. You can do that. When it comes to genital damages, it is not. And this is also difficult even in cases, for example, of rape. So you have a criminal case and somebody is, let's say, for example, convicted of rape, but then I also want to sue for damages for the harm that I've suffered as a result of that rape, That type of harm, again, the genital harm, for genital damages, it's always more tricky to actually say, what am I suing for, how much am I suing for? The courts develop that over time as well, where you will see, okay, in this type of case, or if there's a similar case, I would look for a case that's somewhat of a precedent and see what they've given, how much money has been awarded. Because remember, damages claims they are meant to be compensatory in nature. Okay, it serves a compensatory, not a penal function like criminal law does. So in civil now, we need to be compensated for the harm suffered. So I think that is something that we may see in time. I'm sure in other jurisdictions outside of South Africa, there may have been cases like this. I mean, I haven't come across one. I'm not sure if the courts have decided one. I don't think so. But we may see the courts, being faced with a case being brought before the court, where they need to look at that.